Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. It is Thursday, May 13th, 2021. I am Andrew Hansen alongside Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach. And we are going to bring an experiment to the table here. We recorded the show earlier today and the audio disappeared. So we're going to go with a fast-paced, fast break DFS Coach Talk podcast today. Get everybody ready. And we're going to reveal our Two Brains Are Better Than One FanDuel GPP lineup at the end of the show, so we'll work towards that. But first, Coach, we have to hear about your trip to the ball game last night. Your Mavericks took care of the Pelicans. How was the experience for you?
It was great, man. Just to get out there and mix it up in the real world. I mean, after all of this being locked down stuff, it was fun. It was great to be in the stadium, get to see some live basketball. There was about 10-15% capacity, so it felt like we were at a summer league scrimmage here, and it's an NBA regular season game. So that was weird. Piped in noise was a little weird, but just being there to see it was a lot of fun. So great to be out there. Gets you excited for our world getting back to some type of normalcy sooner than later. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Great to cherish everything we have, including
Yes.
those games, and awesome that you were there. And next best thing here, of course, is watching them from home and participating in DFS. So let's get after it here today. Start us off, Coach, on this 9-game slate.
All right. First game is Clippers and Charlotte, and we talked over. Again, we're gonna go brief on these because we've talked them through between Andrew and I, and we sort of like a sneaky little Kawhi Leonard possibility here at super low ownership. It might be a nice spot for him to put up a 40 or 50 burger. We think he's going to get enough minutes, to stay in his rhythm and rotation. So he may be worth a spot here. And then on the Charlotte side, going against the Clippers, I'm not really high on the guards with a good defense from the Clippers. And the bigs, have been super inconsistent as well. So I don't know how close this game is going to be, but with Beverly and George and Leonard out there defending, the three best players for Charlotte, I think I'm going to fade them and just take a flyer on my GPP lineup with Kawhi.
Yeah, he is ultra cheap. And the last two games, he's played 36 and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
This is a front end for the Clippers. They seem to be pretty solidified in that third spot in the West. But if he's going to be in that starting lineup, I do like the upside there in a GPP at that price tag. So that'll be fun to watch.
Sure.
Not interested in Charlotte here tonight either. Game 2, Coach, highest total on the board. Milwaukee and Indiana, 241.5, moving up since it opened. Milwaukee favored by 8.5. And, although it's the biggest total on the board and we've got the great pace, I'm not looking to spend up on Milwaukee guys. I think you may have a little more interest on that side than me, but we're both now looking more closely to Indiana with the news we just got this afternoon that LeVert is questionable. So this could be, TJ McConnell, go out there and do your thing and run the show and have fun instead of coming off the bench like you've been doing, because Brogdon, Lamb, and Sumner are also out, and Aaron Holiday is questionable. So he might be the only key guard out there. It'd be a tough matchup with Drew Holiday and company, but at that price, in this pace of a game, he's in consideration for me. And Sabonis, he has been smashing it. He's been basically, it's like he's chasing after Russell Westbrook with all these triple doubles almost every night.
Been incredible.
So he's expensive, but he's worth looking at, I think, especially as the value continues to open up, and we'll discuss it here throughout the slate. But for me, it's McConnell now squarely in play if LeVert is out, and Sabonis right there with him.
Yeah, it's going to be news dependent. So, definitely follow us on Twitter. We're at DFS Coach Talk. Andrew is at Language Olympic. I'm at Joe Sarvati, JoeSarvadi. And then this is a perfect time to become a member at Coach Talk. Go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for any type of membership that you want. Right now is a perfect time to try out the 3-day membership. That is only $10 for a 3-day pass, and you get everything. Anytime you become a member with Coach Talk, you get everything that we offer. We don't charge by sport. We do the 4 main sports that we really, really spend quality time on and dig into and uncover every piece of it. And that's football, baseball, basketball, and golf. And you get that entire package of all of our sports with whatever membership that you get. So we're about to head into the playoffs next week in the NBA, which is our prime season of the entire year. And, test the waters, dip your toe in for a 3-day pass. Check us out. We'll have golf lineups for weekend only starting tomorrow night. And then we've got, of course, all kinds of baseball and basketball throughout. So we'd love to have you. And reason we say that is this game exactly. If you're with us in Discord throughout the afternoon, we are monitoring several different ways of getting information from the NBA, all of the sites and the beat writers, everything on Twitter. And we need to know this information because it's going to formulate every way we build lineups. And on top of that is it doesn't end with just the initial main slate lock. It goes throughout the entire evening because right now in these last 4 days, we want to clean up, and we can because we're going to have that edge. There's going to be news that constantly drops, guys in, guys out. And when we're building these lineups, our hybrid and our GPP, we're building them in mind with some of these guys could be rolled out during the slate. Where's that pivot going to be? So we're not haphazardly putting these lineups together and then just seeing what happens. We have a contingency plan involved with everything that we're building. So, jump in Discord with us. You'll see when that posts. We're always posting lineups that are adjusted based on the news. This game is the exact thing. If LeVert sits and Aaron Holiday sits, I think you just run with McConnell and Sabonis, because Sabonis is going to have to score a ton and be involved in everything, and McConnell will probably get, like you said, as much run as he can handle. But if LeVert's in, that really changes both of those spots for me. So we need to follow that news and see what happens. But if we're counting on all of them out right now, I agree with you, Andrew. I think it's McConnell and Sabonis. For me, on the other side, I do like Drew Holiday here a little bit. I think this matchup is a good one for him. I think he can take advantage of the depleted backcourt from Indiana. So he's also going to make some of my lineups.
He's got the brothers on the other side to impress as well.
And he's the big brother, so you don't let your two little brothers get the edge on you, although Mr. Lonzo Ball did.
Yes.
That's for sure. All right, we go to the next game. That's Orlando and Atlanta. This is a really interesting game too. It's 224.5. So there's some potential here. We have lots of guys and news dropping like crazy on people sitting. So we're going to have basically who is everybody they just announced was out.
We just got question marks for Bogdanovich, Capella, and Gallinari.
Right. So that really shortens that rotation. It does bring Trae Young and John Collins into play, in my opinion, just from a usage standpoint. I don't know if you need to go to the bench to, the Solomon Hills and all those guys with a 9-game slate, but, certainly makes those guys tempting. Orlando's been getting waxed, and they are, almost a 14-point underdog here, but, definitely some interest of possibly paying up for one of those guys if all the guys that are now listed as questionable are out. And usually at this early afternoon, if they've gone from not on the report to on there questionably, it's not really because of injuries. It's because, do we want to rest them kind of thing? And if so, don't you think Young and Collins are major plays? For me, on the Orlando side, right now, who do you trust there? If Bamba is out, maybe Carter, but Wagner, Brazdeikis, all these guys, we just don't know how much they're going to play.
Yeah, Orlando is a real mess right now, even with all those guys out, because the value plays, their prices are going up.
Yeah.
So, you could consider Wagner or Carter. Brazdikis, we kind of like his potential, his minutes. They've been giving him a real look. He's got his contract for the rest of the season. My only thought there is if Hunter is defending him, if they both come off the bench, I think Hunter could potentially shut him down. So we'll keep an eye on the starting lineups. But yeah, with this news here, I look a little bit closer at Trae Young and John Collins. But don't have to get exposure here. But it's much more attractive than it was earlier this morning. Let's say that.
Exactly.
All right, Game 4, Philly and Miami. Lower total here, and TNT is upset because Embiid and Jimmy Butler are questionable.
Yeah.
I think Miami wants to push here and win, and they're in that 5-6 spot. So if Jimmy Butler is out, I wouldn't mind picking up one of the guards. Hero is the guy I'm looking at most closely. He really stepped up in the last game when Jimmy Butler left after getting poked in the eye. 35 minutes, nice double-double, more like the bubble Tyler Hero that we got used to last summer. Good price tag. So he's the guy I'm looking at with Miami. Don't really like some of the other matchups here. Philly's great defense. But the one other guy here for me is if Embiid is out, then of course Dwight Howard right into play. Good price. Didn't do a lot in the last one, but we know that he can smash even if he only gets 20 to 24 minutes. So Hero and Howard are possibilities for me today.
Okay. I don't like this game. I really don't. I mean, you got two of the top 7 defenses in the league, and the pace is going to be slow. Miami has only played the slowest of any team the last month, even slower than the Knicks. But for the year, they're second to the slowest team. So I don't like the feel here. You got both stars possibly out. But I don't think it's going to be a game that either team is really pushing the envelope. So quick pass for me. Don't like it. The next game I like even less. Spurs and Knicks. I mean, pretty much all you have to say is you got a Popovich team on the second night of a back-to-back late in the season. So that terrifies you to play anybody. And then you have, as mentioned, the Knicks team, the slowest in the league. And they've got a bunch of guards that were possibly not going to play. And we were getting excited to maybe, get a Peyton or somebody, or we even talked about Ntilikina, but now that's all sort of shot to baloney here because there's more of a probable tag on a bunch of these guards. So don't want to get in the mix of all of those guys in a game like this that could be very slow, very defensive, and then not knowing for sure on the minutes with the rotation. So 100% pass for me on this one.
Yeah, it is now too for me with those guards now probable. Trivia question for our listeners, Coach, a challenge. If anybody can find a similar stat line to Ntilikina, I don't think it's ever happened before in the NBA. He's shooting 47% on three-pointers, 36% from the field, and 44% from the line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not easy to do. To shoot that well from distance and to shoot worse than that, even at the free throw line. So we need to either contact Elias or have one of our listeners tell us if that's ever happened before. I think it'll be a first if he finishes off the season that way. But
I don't remember it ever happening. That's for sure.
Yep. All right. Let's transition to the 8 o'clock game, starting with Toronto and Chicago. This is one of my favorite games on the slate.
I like it too.
Yeah, it's not a high total, but Chicago has to win. Okay, this is a must-win for them.
Yeah,
and Toronto,
single elimination, basically.
Yeah, and Toronto's, they're done. They're out. They're sitting everybody, 8 key guys. So we've got a youth movement for Toronto. These guys pushing for minutes and job security and future opportunities. So Malachi Flynn right in the mix for me. We like to attack the Chicago backcourt. So he's going to be in a bunch of my lineups tonight. I like Kem Birch, running the middle there. Watanabe, if he starts, he could be a deep GPP option. We like his shooting numbers. He never seems to get a ceiling game, but he's possibly in play. Jalen Harris off the bench, I think, could pay off his price tag pretty easily. And I want to run it back with Levine on the other side, Coach. He's really trending up with his minutes, his production. Pushing hard here to give the Bulls a chance. Only 8,600. So I'm going to have 2 to 3 guys from this game in most of my lineups.
Yeah, I think this is a good game as well. The spread is pretty big, 10, but I think as long as Toronto can hang in there, I think that this could be a nice game. The only concern would be blowout, but I agree with you. Levine, I love is one of my buy-up plays tonight. I think you can consider Vuk too. It's just putting all your eggs in that basket. If it does, balloon a 20, 25 point game in the second half, but I wouldn't eliminate Vuk. He's still in consideration for me. I do really like Levine, and I'm with you. I like Flynn and Birch. I think they'll get the majority of the run. Flynn wants to take advantage of this because he's auditioning for a starting point guard there. If they do move Lowry, or not move him, he's going to be a unrestricted free agent. So if he leaves, then Flynn, wants that spot. And Birch is playing for a contract. This is where he wanted to go. He told Orlando if there's any way to make a deal to Toronto. He's a Canadian. He wanted to play there. And I know that, he became buddies with Lowry right away. And Lowry was really high on getting him, long term with the team. Although who knows if Lowry's going to be there. But I think Birch is going to play hard again and get a lot of solid minutes. We do have to watch for Boucher in case he does play. He was questionable.
I have him. He's out.
Oh, is he out? Okay, good. That's great. So we don't have that issue. And so those two guys are solid. Trent can blow up for a 40-point real game. You never know. So, he's not out of consideration, but his price is just a little higher than I'd like. So I'm with you. I like this game. It's one of a sneaky favorite, one of mine as well.
Excellent.
All right, I'm going on to Sacramento and Memphis. We have Memphis, a decent favorite here. Lots of news. Of course, we still have, looks like Fox and Halliburton out for sure, and Bagley and Barnes doubtful, so I don't think they're going to play. So it really does fall in Hield and DeLon Wright's hands. And, you very well, could take a look at both of those guys. The only problem is Brooks, I respect just about more than anybody else defensively on the perimeter. And, I'm pretty sure he'll tackle Hield here. So Wright sort of gets the edge for me. I think his length could bother Ja a little bit. And, he'll get some stocks to go along with his scoring. And, he, again, is playing for somewhat his future and has been killing it. So I think he's a great play. If you need to go cheap and you're looking for a real bargain here, I don't think Metu is a bad play, or Harkless. And then Holmes is a possibility, especially if Joval sits. Joval is questionable right now. So I do like some of that side of the ball. And then on the Memphis side, Brooks, I think, is going to get extended minutes again, playing hard, finishing the season well. He's his price always stays very fair. He's a possibility. And then all the news, again, like I talked about earlier, is going to be if Jovel sits, then I like Jaren Jackson and Xavier Tillman both. One, maybe one or the other, but I like both of them. But if Jovel plays, then I'm probably not going to go there because Triple J is a little bit more expensive if Jovel's in there, and then Tillman's role will be reduced. But again, I like this game as well.
Yeah, me too. I like the Sacramento side a little better because it's a front end. They're going to have a rematch tomorrow. And
right.
Memphis in this situation is more conservative. But I agree with you with those dominoes. The other guy I would mention is Terrence Davis. He's been playing awesome, very steady. His price is going up, but he's been paying it off consistently. So I'm going to probably have a couple guys from this game as well. Next one, Denver, Minnesota, the other 8 o'clock game. And front end for Denver. And we just got some news that Michael Porter Jr. is going to sit.
Yeah, how about that?
So we were considering him because he was cheap on FanDuel. But that makes it potentially even more attractive to play Aaron Gordon, who is incredibly cheap on FanDuel at $3,900, coming off a over 30 fantasy point night, which, I mean, this guy's capable of 50 fantasy points when he's more involved in the offense. And maybe this will be the night where he gets a few more shots So, we've got a terrible defense on the other side in Minnesota. Yes, they've got some guys who play the four who can defend, Vanderbilt, McDaniels. But as a whole, I mean, they are pretty soft. So I like Gordon at that price tag. Don't think I'll spend up for the Joker here. Campazzo, certainly playable, but I like the other guys in that price range. We've already mentioned a little bit more. And then with Minnesota, I'll let you talk about them. I think you're more excited about what they've got tonight.
Yeah, I love the T-Wolves in this final stretch of the couple of games. I mean, I've seen so much life from them in the last two games, and I've mentioned it on previous podcasts, but it just seems like they've come together in the locker room and said, listen, we're going to pick where we pick and get who we get. Let's finish this season strong. And they are playing terrific. They have won some games, taken some good teams to the wire. And I think they come out here and give Denver all they want. I mean, Vegas is sort of indicating that too. It's only a 4-point spread for Denver. So that tells you right there that this could be, really a good game. I may have the most exposure to this game than any other game on the slate. I think Aaron Gordon's probably a free square, man. 3,900 on FanDuel. I mean, he's going to be super highly owned, especially now that Porter's out. I mean, I think he's almost a plug and play. The guy that I want to mention, though, now that is squarely in play is Jermichael Green. He'll start in that spot of Porter's. And, he only needs 25 minutes at that super low price. And he usually produces when he's in there. So sort of like him a little bit. I don't love him, more of a GPP play, but worth mentioning. And then like I say, I'm super high on the Minnesota side. I think they play their guys. They want to win. I think you can talk about D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards both, especially like Anthony Edwards here. I think he has the potential for a monster game. I like them playing next to each other with Rubio in there. Let's Rubio run the show. And he's got two guys to choose from in Russell and Edwards. So I like those guys. Vanderbilt's not a bad play for a super cheap route as well. So I like the value and some of the buy-up guys in this game, and I think it could be a good one.
All right, how about the late night hammer? Only one game at 10 o'clock tonight.
I know it. It's crazy. Portland and Phoenix. And this is my surprise on the slate, and it's an interesting way to end the night. This game's not going to get a ton of attention because you've got two slower teams, and you have Phoenix's good defense. But Portland plays poor defense, and there are reasons why both of these teams want to win this game, enough that I think they're going to play their guys. So I'm toying, Andrew, with my two pay-up guys, since I haven't had a whole lot that I'm going up to, maybe Levine, but I think Lillard's in play, and I think Booker's in play. I like both of them here. Booker he is streaky, but he put up 22 real points in the third quarter this last game. He's capable of doing that at any time. We'd love to attack Portland's backcourt. So I really would like to be able to pay up for both of those guys and get most of my value and savings with the possible Birches and Tillmans and Gordons and everything at the bigger spots, and then use that cash to buy up at the guard spots. So I think it'll be somewhat contrarian. I don't think either one of those guys is going to be chalk, especially at their price tag, and really like those two spots. Everybody else, you could make a case for McCollum or Paul, and a little bit more value with a Powell or Bridges, but not crazy about the bigs in this game. But I really do think I'm going to have some exposure to the more expensive guards.
Okay, I like Booker a lot here. I think he's underpriced. We love
7,500.
Yeah, I like that price tag against Portland's defense. They're going to be tired. They had a tough win in Utah last night. Now they have to travel to Phoenix. Their starters played heavy minutes. So I like the Booker side of that a little bit more. I love how Dame's been playing, but I don't like him against Phoenix here at his price on this slate. So that's how I look at the last one. And all of a sudden, Coach, we're here, ready to reveal the two brains are better than one GPP lineup on FanDuel that we have built. We have built this as a result of our hours of research this morning, our lengthy discussion this morning as we recorded the podcast for the first time, that has disappeared audio-wise. So here we are again. We have now digested the afternoon news. Shall I read the result of what we have put together,
Let's read the results. And it's to be determined on a few of these guys, but we think we have a tricky little group here.
We do. Malachi Flynn and TJ McConnell. Little chalky there, but we like the price tags for sure. Don't really want to stray from those guys on this slate. Levine and Booker paying up at shooting guard.
Yeah.
And then small forward Anthony Edwards, we're paying up there. And then Kawhi Leonard, we're sneaking him in here at 8,200 because of the news. At power forward, Jaren Jackson, 6,000. He's rested. Didn't play the last one. He's ready to go in an up-tempo game. Aaron Gordon, our free square at 3,900. And then Kem Birch rounding it out at 6,000. So stay with us with the news. We will update that if necessary on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. And do us a favor. We went with this quick show here today because of the circumstances. Let us know if you like the shorter version on these two brains are better than one days, or if you like the lengthier version of the podcast that we often do, 45 minutes, 50 minutes or so, where we go more in depth per game. Let us know. We could mix it up. You never know. So we appreciate your feedback on YouTube. That's it. Any final thoughts here, Coach?
No, just excited for the slate. Again, great time to join us, dfscoachtalk.com. Love to have you for this weekend. We got tons of baseball, golf, our golf lineups for the weekend coming out tomorrow, and of course all the basketball as we finish up the season. And we feel like we have a big edge. I think we smash it tonight, finish up strong, and then we get ready for the NBA playoffs.
Can't wait. So we will be grinding every day to get ready. Appreciate all your support. On behalf of the coach and the rest of the DFS Coach Talk team, I'm Andrew Hansen. We'll see you tomorrow as we look to crush it in DFS.